Again, it's another problem that you run into that it's a good thing we don't have to race next week. I don't think it's a problem with the axles. I think it's a problem with this posi unit. I think the clutch packs are past their life. We'll get this rear end rebuild kit on order. All right, so it's been a few days or whatever. So in the meantime, I didn't take any footage. Should have. In the meantime, we test fit all his disc brakes on, and that all went according to plan. Yeah, they're universal rotors. They're the 4-lug or the 5-lug Ford. Those went on good. These are the disc brake adapter brackets. Went ahead and ordered some stainless brake hose. It looks a little better. The only modification you have to do there is on the lower control arm bracket. You just drill a hole for the location lock and a hole for your bolt. I guess they added that in 93 for the disc brakes, and the UPR lower shock mounts, which, well, you just painted them. But basically, what happened is I set a shock up here with the coilover sleeve and the nut and a spring, and it's real close to the e-brake mechanism spring there, and also the nut, the adjusting nut on the coilover sleeve is real close to the brake bracket. So, but we really don't know until we get it in the car. So it's going to be close. Possibly I need to space this lower shock bracket out, make a spacer or something in there. Or, anyway, we'll know that once we get in the car. But the last item, other than still waiting on our spherical bushings, I was hoping those would be here this week. So I guess next week. But in the meantime, we still have to. These are the factory hard lines from his drum brakes. So the only modification we have to do here is make a cut, and we got to put the holy shit. We have to flare. That's the word I'm looking for. Ric Flair. What does he say?
Ric Flair.
Woo! So yeah, slide on a fitting. We had to get a different fitting, or sorry, we had to get new fittings anyway, but the thread is bigger. I can't remember what size it was. Riley picked them up, but it's bigger on the new brake hose, so we have to get a couple new fittings. So this side we already got cut, so we're just gonna, well, before we flare it, we gotta slide the fitting on. Don't forget. And we'll get that done on both sides, and that's, if we get that done tonight, we're styling. All right, so Riley ran into a small but easy surmountable issue here with the brake lines. Ends up being that the fittings that I thought we needed, which was a 3/16 fitting just with the bigger thread end, was not the case. The issue is that it's actually 3/16 hard line to the new stuff, which is 1/4 inch. So we had to get a 3/16 to 1/4 inch adapter fitting, and that solved all the issues. So we just finished flaring those hard lines there.
Getting some practice.
These damn spherical bushings are in Canada, and that's all I know. So where in Canada, I don't know, but it's holding us back from getting a diff in. In the meantime, what we can do, light's not very good, but we threw the upper control arms in. And the only other thing we can do until we get those bushings is
the lowers and the shocks, which I think we have one in right now.
Yeah, we'll get the shocks hanging from the body, and we'll get these lower control arms in, and I don't know, what else can we do? Just wait.
Just do small stuff. Always something little touch-ups that you can do, so.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm used to ordering stuff, and it's here within a week at the most, but we're going on 3 weeks here, so what can you do? So yeah, we'll get these control arms in. All right, Ryan, big day.
Yep, finally going in.
Bushing, arrival day. So like 18 days later,
Yeah.
we got them. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put a little smear of blue Loctite on the nut. I don't think it matters what side goes which. It's gonna be easier to tighten the nut if we put them in like this. So that's what we're gonna do. We got my one size fits all adjustable wrench. So we'll tighten that in, and then we can finally get this damn thing under the car. So sweet, let's do that. All right, so I actually lied. So on the passenger side, it'll go in from either side, but on the driver's side, because of the kick out for the ring gear, the bushing has to go from the outside. So that's the way they are. That's the way they are gonna sit, and we're just gonna get it down onto the ground, onto a jack, and we'll get that in place. All right, so 10 minutes of fumbling around, getting everything lined up. We have her in, and it all looks good. I was worried, like I mentioned before, about the shock to the e-brake mechanism, but looks like we have lots of room there. One other thing is because the shocks aren't only dampening the suspension, they're actually holding the weight of the car up now. I believe this kit is supposed to come with some solid bushings. It didn't. Again, we bought this kit new, never used, but off the Facebook Marketplace. So what I'm gonna do there is just I'll turn some solid bushings, maybe titanium, and because otherwise, yeah, it's gonna beat the shit out of that rubber in no time holding the car up. So let's slide some wheels and tires on.
Yeah.
See where we're at for ride height.
It should look good.
Actually, before we slide the wheels and tires on, we figured we'd figure out the rear e-brake cables. And for that, where's the factory one?
Yeah.
Not factory, but drum brake style, I should say.
Yeah, so the difference in the two ends is that for the Cobra disc brakes, it has kind of this, like it doesn't have the spring and everything, it just stops in there and this goes to the caliper, rather than this whole mechanism.
Goes inside the drum brake.
Yeah, so what?
We ordered 93 Cobra cables.
Which is what these are. And
But
they're the same length, but the difference is, actually this one we already modified. But
in what, 87 or something, they switched to a self-adjusting e-brake handle. So because Riley's car is an 83 with the non-adjustable style e-brake cable, these Cobra disc brake e-brake cables aren't a direct bolt-in. So what Riley has to do here to modify them.
yeah, because they're kind of routed different. So on the 93 ones, this stopper bracket, whatever you call it, yeah, is right before where it attaches to the handle part of the cable. But on mine, how it was, it kind of goes around a pulley and then it's back here. So either we would have to make a bracket that's up at this new location, or what we're doing is
attach a bracket to like underneath the tunnel, the trans tunnel. But what we're doing is we're physically going to move this crimp end down to
the same location there.
Location, which is just ahead of the lower torque box kind of area.
So that's what we did with this one so far. It's a real pain to do with these. So it's covered with this coil of.
It's got a rubber sheathing on it, and then it's coiled with this steel liner or whatever,
Yeah.
so it's a bit of a pain in the ass to cut these rungs off, but
no, that's done. So this,
that's what we have to modify, right?
yeah, so we did that with here, and it slides over. Put a hose clamp on just so it kind of keeps the dirt out, stays clean.
Yeah, we'll probably put like a crimp clamp or something on there.
Yeah.
Once we're finished.
But now this is exactly like the factory one, except it'll work with our disc brakes. So
yeah, so we
did one
side. He's gonna tackle the other side.
Yep.
Alright, so it's been a couple days. What did we do in a couple days? We got the e-brake cables on. I think that's behind us. I need to make a couple brackets that are gonna mount the e-brake cable to the trailing arm, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about there once we pull the tire off. But
Now, got the wheels on and set up, and kind of got the rad height figured out where it'll be.
yeah, so this is kind of where he wants his ride height, which I would agree looks pretty badass there. The only thing obviously we're gonna have to do, and we're gonna do that today, is roll these fender lips, because right now it's like on the tire. So Riley's buddy had one of these cheapy fender rollers. So we're gonna see how that works. We're gonna take it easy and get a hair dryer to heat up the fenders. So
Just try to keep it all good.
we don't want to chip the paint. And then the other thing we had to do, because this is a 275 tire, 6.5 inch backspace, 10-inch wheel, is the typical FOXBODY bashing, kind of from here down to the bottom, just for a little tire clearance. Everywhere else was good. As you can see, that's the area that we had to bash for tire clearance. So that was all good. The e-brake cables, they're just zip tied right now. But I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a little clamp bracket actually that loops around here. And then it'll loop around the section of the control arm. So it'll keep that away from the tire at the front here. And it'll allow it to move up and down.
I'll show them
With the rear.
I'll show them on the heater hose, or heater hose.
Yeah, this same sort of idea. Same idea as that.
Yeah.
Hose kind of.
So we'll just have one of those on each side instead of a bunch.
Well, we found out our cat's been sleeping on the intake here.
Yeah.
There's cat hair everywhere here, so we may have to shoot the cat. All right, so we've moved on to the fender rolling. I've never used one of things. I usually roll other things than fenders. But... So it seems to be working. I'm going in 1/4 inch preload increments and just swinging it back and forth. And it's hard to see. We're getting a little bit of paint chip on the edge, but that's okay. We can touch that up. We just want to make sure we don't have.
Yeah, you're gonna keep
Just
this
make sure that we don't
edge clean.
any chipping out here, but on the inside there, it's all right. So
It's just kind of where the wheel's contacting that it's gonna chip, so should be okay on the outside. And then we're also just using the blow dryer to keep it warm.
So that's kind of all I'm doing. Quarter turn at a time.
And a lot of the resistance is just from the diff, right? Not from the roller itself. And these spacers on the handle you would just use if you were to hit the caliper there, but
If you needed.
yeah, but we got it in the clearance, so we're good.
Yeah, we're gonna sweat a little bit here.
Yeah.
Keep going, but it's definitely working.
Yeah. Oh.
On my car, I used a ball peen hammer and cut wheel.
And that didn't look so good.
That's why it looks like shit. All right, so we fender rolled both sides here. We're pretty, let's see here, how close I can get in there. It's pretty good. It's not quite as much as we want it pulled to the outer fender, but that's gonna give us ample tire clearance.
Yeah, and if it does rub now, it's not gonna be rubbing right on that edge on the inside. It's gonna be on a smoother surface. Obviously, we don't want it to rub at all.
When you pile 4 lady friends in with you. Yeah. So yeah, so that's gonna kind of wrap up the rear end. Looks like our clutch packs for the rear end aren't gonna be in for like a couple of weeks yet. So like we were saying before, we're gonna move ahead to the motor and transmission, get that pulled out, and do some upgrades there, and we'll talk about that when we make our next video. But for now, we're gonna fire this thing up, get it turned around, and
test the foot brake.
We'll test the foot brake, the e-brake, that sort of stuff. So hopefully you like this video. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
We got merch. And till next time, we'll check you later.
See ya.
Well, you can back up a bit.